What's up, queens? This is Brittany from She Abundantly at sheabundantly.com, and I got this message burning in my heart and I want to share it. Okay? Most of us get into relationships out of ignorance, or a lot of times it's out of lust. What that means is we go after a guy, we want him so bad that we will do illegal things just to get him, meaning we will break God's heart or break his law just to get it. And there is a common thread that we all experience in the end, which is heartbreak, pain, humiliation. Some of us have been dragged through the mud. Some of us have been humiliated so bad, whether behind the scenes or publicly humiliated. And that's because of this. There is a price to pay for idolization. There is a price to pay for idolization. What that means is anytime we put anything or anybody, specifically a man, a relationship, before God, we will pay the price for that. And a lot of times the price that we pay as women is heartbreak. The tormenting memories afterwards, the mess that we find ourselves in afterwards. I don't even have to go into specific details because I know what we have experienced as women, whether it had been the physical consequences, mental, emotional, spiritual. I know the pain of it, but I want to share this because I don't want us as women to continuously go through the same thing over and over and then look back and cry the same tune of, oh, he hurt me. He did this. He did that. God, why did you let that happen to me? Because I've heard it. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. When it comes to pain, I've experienced it. Pain has a way of distorting the truth. Pain has a way of distorting the truth. It points the finger at everybody else except you. When in actuality, you were at some point a willing participant in your pain. We play a part in the pain that we are currently going through. At some point, we were a willing participant. At some point, we put this man before God. If God didn't present you to this man for him to have you, to protect you, to honor you as his wife, and instead you presented yourself to a man, which is the majority of our relationships, that is us idolizing a man. That man had no reflection of God, the Holy Spirit. That man was rejected by the Lord, and yet we still presented ourselves to him to say, take me, love on me. We idolize that man, and there is a price to pay for it. I've paid the price before my life really being submitted to the Lord, and afterwards, me even experiencing a rape that caused me to fall back into a sexual relapse. It was a horrible situation, but nonetheless, I still had to assess it. This is 8 years in of me committing myself to God and choosing not to date. Okay. So this stuff can happen at any point, at any time in your life. But I'm sharing this with you to say it's because I idolized. It's because I was lusting in the moment. It's because I was trying to feel something or feel a void or feel a temporary feeling at the moment, not even realizing what I'm doing, not even realizing how tricky and how sticky a trap of lust really is. And I found myself idolizing a person, a man. And guess what? I paid the price for that. I paid the price for it. And a lot of you right now who are listening are paying the price for it. So I want us to be mindful so that we won't continuously go through the same thing over and over again. Okay? What part did you play in that? Take ownership, take accountability. Because if you don't, you're gonna go through the same thing over and over again, stay broken, stay stuck, and look back and still not take accountability, still not see yourself in your own actions. You feel me? Because when you acknowledge who you are, how you got into the situation, it breaks the cycle so you don't go down the same road again and again and again. Because here's the thing, we have things to do in life. We have purposes to fulfill. There's a generation that's coming up underneath us that needs to know better. And who gonna teach them better if we don't? This is what the Lord told me anyway. I know he's telling you as his daughter. How do you break free from this? How do you break this cycle of idolization? There it is. Here it is. Stay covered. This is what he told me, and I know he's telling you the same thing. Stay covered, my daughter. What that means is allowing God to guard you, protect you, shield you. That means he's going to keep the danger out. But at the same time, what a covering does is it keeps the good things inside. It preserves those things that are good, that are useful, that are valuable for greater use. Preserves it now so it can be used in a greater capacity later. But in order for that to happen, God is saying, I need you to let me cover you. Not just 50% of the time, not just during the winter season or spring, but during the summer and the fall too. 100% of the time, all time. And let the Lord cover you. Let the Lord cover me. Okay? Because here's the truth. If God didn't present you to that man and you presented yourself to that man, 9 times, 10 times out of 10, let's just call it thing a thing, it's because you are idolizing him. If God never gave you the green light, if God never told that man that you were his, if that man was not in alignment with God, if that man showed no reflection of who God is, and somewhere along the way you thought it was smart to give yourself to that man, it's because we idolize that man. Let's just call a thing a thing. Some of us are even in marriages right now, horrible marriages that are emotionally draining, emotionally just not a loving relationship, not a loving marriage, because we idolize him. And what that is, what you're paying is the price of idolization. My mentor talks about this. She teaches on it because she was married twice. And what she calls it is you are serving your sentence. Whether it be 4 years, 10 years, a lot of 7 years, you are serving your sentence of idolization. And I totally can relate. I've never been married before, but I can relate to paying the price, okay? The pain that you go through, the heart. There is no greater pain I feel that a woman goes through. Maybe losing a child. I'm sure that may be much greater, but pain from a man. When you put yourself in the hands of the wrong man, the price that you pay for that, it breaks you. It breaks you. So how do you get out of it? The Lord said, allow me to cover you. Allow him to cover you. What that means is if God is not presenting you to a man, do not present yourself to that man. That means the majority of the men that you encounter in your life, you're going to say no to. You're going to say no to. You must say no to. Because the majority of men that you encounter are wolves. The majority of men that you encounter they're living a convenient life. They have no purpose. They don't know their purpose. They're just living life. And when you come along, you seem like a good catch, like a good fun time for maybe a month or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Out of convenience, pull back from dating. I took a time of 8 years of my life to not date. I wasn't engaged. I wasn't even thinking about dating. And that was God pruning me, healing me, going through counseling, my purpose being birthed, me living out my purpose. And I'm still doing that now. You understand what I'm saying? But that was me developing, allowing him to develop me. And a lot of times, if we don't allow ourselves to be single, if we don't allow ourselves to just be us and God, we will never go through that development. And we're going to find ourselves in cycle after cycle of being, of idolizing a man and being broken by that same man, because that's the price you pay for idolizing a man, for idolizing a relationship. We are not created as God's precious women, daughters, creations to be going through hell. To be taking L's like we take it. To be some man's in-house booty while he getting this booty from there and this booty, like to be one of many. And we as women, we carry the grunt. We carry the most weight because we carry the seed. Men plant seeds. We carry the seed. So we carry the effects of that thing around in our bodies, in our psyche, in our beings. So guess what? We got more to lose I feel like we got more to lose when it comes to idol worship. So I'm telling you, Queen, time out for us being so in la la land that we're not acknowledging the part that we play, that we're not acknowledging our own actions, holding ourselves accountable. Time out for it. Because real truth is, a man can only do what you allow him to do. That's true. It really is. And when we give ourselves to a man, if we giving ourselves, trust me, I understand. When we give ourselves sexually, it causes our heart to just melt into, and we fully give ourselves to him. So it's like at that point, it's like you're willing to receive and take anything that he gives you, even if it's disrespect, even if you don't want to go through it. It's the nature of sex. Sex causes your will to be bound to that person. And so you're just stuck on that person. You feel me? I could explain that a better way, but you get what I'm saying. I understand that. But still, there was a part. What boundaries did we cross before we even got to sex? Where, at what point did we idolize that man? When we acknowledge that, we'll break the cycle. The beautiful thing about this, because even though it ain't good or it don't feel good, it always works for your good. You're going to have a testimony. You're going to be able to help other young women. You're going to be able to help your daughters. But here's the thing. When you have God, even if you're experiencing the consequences of your sinful, lustful, idolizing actions, when you have God, there's a grace and a mercy over your life or operating in your life to endure the consequences. That's the beauty of it. Because here's the thing, you're not going to be exempt. Nobody is exempt from paying the price of sin, paying the price of idolization, and putting a relationship before God. But the beautiful thing is, he's promising to be with you through it all, to be with me through it all. I just wanted to encourage you, as I'm encouraging myself. Allow the Lord to cover you, so that you won't find yourself paying the price for idolization another day in your life. Because who can afford to pay this price, to keep paying it? I know I can't. I got a life to live. You got a life to live. We got purpose to live. We have a generation to raise. Who, if they don't know better, who gonna teach them? And we still going through the same cycle. How can we teach our babies when we're steady broken and in pain? It's hard to live life when you are in pain. Ask me how I know. That's all I got. Stay encouraged. Allow the Lord to cover you. Pull back from dating. Assess who you are, where you're going. And allow God to set you up with a man that he has been raising up for you. But if we keep idolizing and submitting ourselves to these wolves, these men who God did not present us to, we'll never meet the man that he has presented, who he wants to present us to, and fulfill the call on our lives to be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth, subdue it, and have dominion over that. That's a powerful call. How can we get there if we're just stuck in pain, stuck in idol worship? Time out. No more for me and you. That's all I got for now. Stay encouraged. Peace.